Thank you so much. It's a great pleasure to be here today and to see your little Saturday on a Wednesday. Yes. And for me, who lives in Huddinge, it was very nice to go here. And also a lot of old memories came when I came into this building because, I mean, of course, I was here for many meetings when I was working at AstraZeneca before my time at BioArctic. But today I will talk about BioArctic, and I've spent my whole career, which actually is more than 40 years, and then you can understand how old I am, in brain diseases. And it's so great to be able to be part of a journey where we actually now are helping patients around the world. Because that's my driving force. I want to help patients. And I will tell you now about BioArctic. So it's with great pleasure that I proudly can say that BioArctic, we are among world leaders in 2 different areas. One area is to do really selective antibodies towards misfolded aggregated proteins while sparing the physiological monomers. So that's one area, and that's where Leqembi, which is now helping Alzheimer's patients around the world, was the first one. And we have other parts also for alpha-synuclein, for Parkinson's disease, and TDP-43 for ALS, for example. The other part, where we also are among world leaders, is with brain transporters, a way to get different treatments better into the brain. And here we are utilizing transferrin receptor, like many other companies are doing, but we're doing it in a different way, which is very competitive. And for those of you who know P.O. Fresgård, he is the mastermind behind this. But we have many different great minds who are working together on this. And then to the right, there you see our latest part, which is actually further innovations in brain transporter, where we also now are adding our brain transporter to different modalities, not only antibodies, but also to proteins, enzymes, and genetic medicine, small modalities like ASOs and siRNA. So that's our latest part of inventions. So everything started with Professor Lars Lannfelt and his discoveries, where he first found the Swedish mutation and the Arctic mutation. And that's why BioArctic has been named BioArctic. Because he saw that in the Arctic mutation families in the northern Sweden, they had these elevated levels of toxic misfolded amyloid beta that is called protofibrils. So he got the idea, what if we make an antibody that selectively takes away those toxic forms while sparing the physiological monomers? And he did that first at Uppsala University, and he and Per Gällefors created BioArctic. And the finding is from a mutation family, but it is generalizable because it exists in all Alzheimer's patients. But that's how it started. And he found the Arctic mutation at the end of last century, and then they founded BioArctic 2003. We did an IPO 2017, and 2023 was a great year when we got the first approval and launch in the US of Leqembi. Today we are, it says I think 130, we are growing fast, we are about 150 people right now. And we are growing especially among scientists, because scientists and innovation, that's really the heart of BioArctic. But we're also building a small commercial organization to prepare for commercialization of Leqembi in the Nordic region, together with our partner Eisai. So money talks, I heard, was the theme of today. So I'll just say, money is of course a really critical factor when you're building a company. And that has been the task that I have been working with all the time since I came to BioArctic 2013, after the closure of AstraZeneca Södertälje. Then I just want to say that grants is really important at some specific time points. We have been very lucky with Vinnova, Swedish Innovation Fund, but also Horizon 2020 European Fund, where we have got 5 different grants and Vinnova, we have got some grants that has been really, really important for us at specific time points. We have had a partnership with ASI all the way back since 2005. So the ASI research collaborations later on, milestones, has actually helped to build BioArctic. So we have only done one funding, and that was from the public market, and that was when we did the IPO. All the other parts has come from different partnerships with ASI to start with, and then with AbbVie, where we got $130 million, and now quite lately with Bristol Myers Squibb, where we have got $100 million so far, and the latest one is Novartis, where we got $30 million up front. So these kind of partnership, this is our business model, that we are an innovation company that brings forward different projects up to a certain stage. And then we want a partner, especially before phase 3, unless it's rare diseases, then we can bring it all the way. And what I really like about our two founders' philosophy, they want to build a new successful biopharma company. They are really sad about Pharmacia left Sweden, and AstraZeneca to a large extent has left. We have Mölndal, Gothenburg, and we still have Södertälje for production. From a Swedish perspective, but they really want to build a new successful company. So that's a really nice task to get to help with that. So as I said, we focus on neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's disease and Parkinson's disease and ALS, and this really affects a lot of patients and relatives and has large cost to society. I already said that. So we have, last year, we had our first Capital Markets Day, where we also publicly talked about our 2030 ambitions. And those are quite easy to see what our ambitions are on our way to become a really successful Swedish biopharma company. The first one is with our Alzheimer's treatment, Leqembi, to get it established around the world. And I think we are quite a good way on that track. The second one is to have a balanced and broader pipeline portfolio, where we would like to have projects in all stages. And as I will show you, we're also very well on that path. We have a business model, as I said, where we are working with partnerships, and we want to have more partnerships. And of course, and I love to work with business development. I think that's great fun. So that is also an area where I think we will see more things happening in the future. And the last one, we are profitable. We had a really good profit last year. We have more than 2 billion Swedish crowns on the bank, and had a profit of more than 1 billion last year. And we have recurring dividends as our long-term ambition. But the board has already proposed dividends from this year. So we still have enough money both to invest in all our internal programs, as well as giving something back to the shareholders. So it's a really successful company that I'm really proud of leading. So it's also great to be in the field of Alzheimer's disease. I've been in this field for many, many years, but now science is breaking. And things are happening both on the diagnostic part and on the treatment part. So blood-based biomarkers are really coming through, together with possibilities with CSF and PET scans. And then the treatment part with the disease-modifying treatments, where there are now 2 disease-modifying treatments approved at some parts of the world. Also here in Europe, but so far not accessible in a broader way in Europe, but definitely in the US and Asia and many other parts of the world. So Leqembi is approved in 53 countries around the world, and that is for IV infusion. And the next one was that when we come to maintenance therapy, then we can give it a little bit less frequent. And then the really important thing to help patients with convenience is to give a subcutaneous autoinjector. And that has been approved for subcutaneous treatment in the US, and we are now waiting for the PDUFA date in May and we hope for an approval then also for induction treatment. Then the patients have full flexibility if they want to have an IV infusion or a subcutaneous injection that they can do at home. So, and that's also where we're differentiated versus competitors that do not have that possibility. So I really hope that we also can help Swedish patients in not too long, but as you know, Europe is much later, 3 years after the US, and hopefully we will get also possibilities to help Swedish patients. And I think this is important because, I mean, it's a Swedish invention. Of course we want to help Swedish patients as well. But we have a tough climate, and it's getting even tougher now with the Trump administration with the most favored nation pricing, which means that they do not want to risk the US market and then give lower prices to Europe. So Europe has to start to pay more if European patients should continue to get innovative treatments. The other part is that different things come in different order with the pathology for Alzheimer's disease, and we are with Leqembi going earlier, and we see that the earlier we go in the disease progression, the better benefit the patient seems to get. And so there is also a phase 3 study ongoing now where we are looking at patients that do not yet have any symptoms, but they have increased level of amyloid deposits in the brain. And in that study, we identify the patients by a really sensitive PET ligand. That Samuel, who is here, was the mastermind behind that one. And that's the best amyloid tracer which is out there. And it feels really good to be able to use that one that was invented by AstraZeneca. And now we have that in our study. So you see the circle kind of goes around, and this world is so small. So everyone kind of has a possibility to meet each other again at different places. The other part, if we leave Alzheimer's disease and look at Parkinson's disease, is alpha-synuclein, where we have a very similar approach. Also, those misfolded aggregated forms of alpha-synuclein. And here we hope to be able to help Parkinson's disease patients and MSA patients. And also of interest, of course, to help patients with Lewy body dementia. And also, about half of Alzheimer's patients have co-pathology, and a lot of those have alpha-synuclein. So that's also another possibility for the future. We have a family of 3 different antibodies, where exidavnemab is the first, which now is in phase 2A, and we are preparing for phase 2B. And now it's in Parkinson and MSA. And then 2238, which is also an antibody where we have engineered in the brain transporter technology into that asset. And that is, we have selected a candidate drug, and we are doing IND-enabling activities. And then we have another follow-up program. Then, as I said, an area where we also are among world leaders is in order to help different treatments to come better into the brain. And we are utilizing the body's own transport system with transferrin. And the way we do that, I mean, there is a possibility to get, of course, better exposure, better into the brain. We also enter the brain in another way, so we can have less of the side effects. And also then a potential to have better effect, more convenience, because we can have a lower dose, and it should be easier to get the treatment. And of course, lower cost of goods. So this is really, I think, the future for different brain diseases, to have different kind of brain transporter technologies. So we have now, as I said, we work on antibodies, we also work on enzymes and other small modalities. And I wanted to show this one. So this is a way to see, this is mice brains, and up to the left, there you can see a mice, and the green is when the amyloid antibody comes to the amyloid target. And you see some green up there. So this is, it could be Leqembi, it's not, but it could have been, looks like that. And goes in and gets some effect. But if you look at the bottom one, just below that is when we have utilized the same antibody with our brain transporter technology built in. And then you see so much more green. So it goes rapid, broad, and deep. So we can also access different parts of the brain which we do not access in the same way with the normal antibody. And the middle one shows GCase, which is an enzyme where we also have utilized the brain transporter technology. And the right one is with ASOs, just showing that we can also utilize this. So this has created a lot of interest among big pharma and other potential partners. So these are examples of the two latest deals that we did with Bristol Myers Squibb, but they also licensed our antibodies. So that was then a major deal. And then with Novartis, then we got their antibody into our house at BioArctic, and we are re-engineering the antibody and then giving it back to Novartis. So that's kind of two different business models that we have. So today we have a quite broad portfolio that is advancing, and it's getting larger and larger, and especially the bottom part where the brain transporter is built in. So I just want, Gunilla isn't anywhere without talking about leadership. To me, it's really important what we do, but also how we do it. And I just want to say that I think it's really, really important how we work with leadership. And that's an important part. And thank you, AstraZeneca. I've been in a very, very good school for my 28 years at AstraZeneca. So I brought some of the best things with me from AstraZeneca, and that was leadership was one of those. So clear direction, to be very inclusive and try to get everyone to feel part of the same company and the same successes that we have. Really work on people, projects and science. And what people have told me is that they think that I have a cool head, warm heart, clean hands and fast feet. So that's a way to describe my leadership. But I also wanted to say, for me, values are really important. And the company values that we have is care, challenge, and collaboration together. So I see time is flying when you're having fun. So I just want to say that, BioArctic is a really, really successful company where we are now selling Leqembi for more than $500 million in global sales for last year, and the brain transporter and our pipeline is developing really, really well. We have a strong interest from different potential partners, and we have a really strong financial position in the company, so we can invest in more innovations and also give some dividends to the shareholders. So by that, I say thank you so much for your attention and happy to take some questions.